God. I'm out of breath. Whew. All right, let's get this video started. What's for dinner? Hey everyone, I'm Chef Z and welcome back to my channel, Chef Z Cooks. Today I have a completely different type of video. I'm actually really excited. We are doing a grocery haul Thanksgiving edition. Okay, so a few weeks ago, I asked you guys, in addition to cooking videos, because those are not going anywhere, what other types of videos would you like to see from me? And a bunch of you guys said that you would like to see some grocery hauls. So this morning, bright and early, because your girl is in the supermarket first thing in the morning, I went ahead and I did 80% of my Thanksgiving shopping. And let me tell you guys something. I'm currently filming this exactly a week before Thanksgiving. No clue when this video is gonna go out. Don't judge me if it comes out afterwards. Anyways, it's a week before Thanksgiving and the store was already super packed. They were already out of stock of some of my favorite things. And pro tip, I always like to go grocery shopping a week before. However, there are a few things that I inevitably have to wait until the very last minute and just brace for the fires, because we all know going grocery shopping a few days before Thanksgiving, it is the worst. It's like you gotta elbow people because my goodness, they are packed. But anyways, I did the 80% of my grocery shopping. I will talk to you at length as to what it is I'm going to be getting at the very last minute. This is going to be a glimpse into my Thanksgiving dinner. Now, I do have a Friendsgiving tomorrow, and that's one of the reasons why I actually decided to share this grocery haul, because it is as close to the real thing. Now, comment down below, let me know, when do you guys go grocery shopping? Definitely give this video a huge thumbs up, and may I add, definitely get comfortable because we're gonna be here a while. I'm gonna be showing you guys everything that I got. Okay, so trying to figure out what I'm gonna start with. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna show you guys the meats that I bought, because those are actually still in the refrigerator. I didn't want them to just be sitting out here getting warm, which, by the way, I just realized I probably should speed this up because I have some things like butter that is just sitting out here. So 1 second, please. Okay, so the first thing I actually want to show you guys is the ground beef that I bought, because yes, I am going to be making some beef empanadas this year and some pastelitos de carne. And funny enough, my sister is actually going to be making them and I'm going to be helping her. Look at that, I'm helping her in the kitchen. I am her sous chef this year. And so I'm constantly talking about using grass-fed beef, and here it is right here in the flesh. Now, this I actually bought from Stop and Shop. As you can see right here, it's 100% grass-fed and it is 90% lean and 10% fat. Now, whenever I am shopping for meat to use for empanadas, pastelitos, pastelón, lasagna, anything where you're going to be using the ground beef as a filling, I personally always like to go with something that is on the leaner side. And that's because I don't want it to be super oily and super greasy, because when you use a ground beef that has a high fat content, which is honestly anything that's 20% and above, or under I should say, like 80% fat and 70, you guys get it. You run the risk of it just like oozing out and it just becomes a hot mess. Now, you can mitigate that, honestly. You can drain the fat whenever you're cooking the beef, but that's an extra step. And this just makes it easier. So here's just an example of one of the grass-fed ground beef that I do get. Stop and Shop. By the way, this is not sponsored at all, but Stop and Shop does have a great selection of some grass-fed beef, and so does Whole Foods, obviously, although they can get a little bit pricey. And if you have a, Fairway, if you have a Fairway, I know they're a little dicey. You can't find them as much as you used to, but they are also another great selection of finding grass-fed beef. Ugh. All right, and now here we have the pernil, which is going to be the star, so I hope, of tomorrow's Friendsgiving. Now the pernil that I'm going to be making on actual Thanksgiving, that I like to get about 2 days in advance, and hear me out. Unpopular opinion, get ready. I am not a huge fan of freezing meat. I do not like defrosting meat. I do not like freezing it. I just find that sometimes when they have been frozen for far too long, they get freezer burnt. It changes the flavor. So I do not like to freeze the meat. I like to keep it as fresh as possible. So I actually do not buy my pernil too far in advance because I don't want to freeze it. I still want it to maintain its integrity. Now, the issues with waiting so long to buy the pernil that I'm actually going to be making on Thanksgiving is that obviously sometimes they run out or they're too small, so I have to buy multiples. But these are all risks that I'm willing to take to get the freshest pernil as possible. Now, few things that I look for when shopping for a pernil. Number one is size. I personally, again, personal preference, I always like to buy a pernil that's at minimum 10 pounds. Now, a few of the things that I do look for when I'm shopping for a pernil is that I want it to have a good meat to fat ratio. So sometimes you find some pernils that have just like a ton of fat, and I honestly leave those there. I don't bother. So again, I look for a good I look for a good meat to fat ratio. I make sure that the meat is very, very nice and pink. Now, if you guys have ever made pernils before, then you guys know that this thing has a huge bone that runs through the center of it. And sometimes that bone is extra hefty. And unfortunately, you won't find that out until your pernil is cooked and ready to serve. And part of the reason why I like it to have just a little bit of fat, I don't want it to be completely lean. I just don't want it to be completely fat, because then where's the meat? Pernil is all about that shredded meat. So I always try to look for one that has a good balance. Obviously, I have a video here on my channel teaching you all about making pernil. So if you want to learn my recipe on how to make this, definitely check out that video. And let's go ahead and see what else I got from the grocery store. Okay, so a few other things that I got from the grocery store are some breadcrumbs. In particular, I got some unseasoned breadcrumbs. Spoiler alert, I absolutely love stuffing for Thanksgiving. I'm one of the last few people who like stuffing. I do have a video here on my channel on how I like to make my stuffing. It is in my stuffed turkey recipe, so definitely check that video out if you haven't already. It's just a classic dish and I can't get enough of it. Now, I typically get the Pepperidge Farm. This is my first year, full transparency, getting the Arnold brand. Hopefully I like it. I make sure to get it unseasoned because I want to season it myself. And speaking of seasoning it, and I'm trying to go through everything as far as dishes just because that's how my mind works and I want to make sure not to forget anything. But to make stuffing, you need some carrots and you also need some celery. And these carrots look so beautiful. I always like to make sure that they come with a little bit of their carrot tops because this actually has a ton of flavor. So if you're making some soup, which I will inevitably do because I know I'm gonna have leftovers, and these are the same ingredients that I use for my classic chicken noodle soup, which by the way, I also have a video on that. I will link that down below. And then we have some celery. Same thing with the celery. Now these I bought in the bag because funny enough, it's actually really hard to find like real celery, farm fresh celery. Typically they're in season towards the end of the summer. They take a ton of water to grow. But one of the things that just like irks me about store-bought celery is that, and I'll show you guys, hold on. One of the things that irks me is that they always chop off the tops of these, and I don't know if they have a special name, but the celery leaves, oh my goodness, they are full of flavor. And if you've never put them in your sofrito and mix them in with cilantro, honey, let me tell you guys something, you are really missing out. So I definitely bought some celery because that's gonna go into my stuffing along with some chicken stock. Now, hold your horses. here's what I look for when I buy chicken stock. If I can find low sodium chicken stock, I like to go ahead and get that because I personally like to control the amount of salt. This one is not low sodium, however, it has everything else that I look for when I buy some chicken stock. And number one, it's organic and it's free range chicken. It's gluten free. But anyways, you guys get the idea. I always try to source things hormone free, no added salt, things like that. And this makes for a really good soup base. And obviously I'm gonna add it to my stuffing and it's gonna be delicious. I'll link it down below and I'll also link some of the other ones that I have used in the past. Now, I also have some sage. Sage is just like an amazing herb to have during this time of year, and it goes amazing in some stuffing. Comment down below. Are you guys crazy about stuffing? Do you not like it? This should come as no surprise. I'm a little bit of a traditionalist, so I love making a cranberry sauce for Thanksgiving. And again, I'm one of two people who eats the cranberry sauce on Thanksgiving. One of them is my husband, and I believe my sister-in-law did like the cranberry sauce when I made it. I want to say like 2 years ago. So these are the cranberries. These are the ones that I could just find in the grocery store. Again, sometimes I do like to make it out to the local farms all the way out east to get some, but this year, your girl don't got no time. So we went with some store-bought cranberries, and I don't make just any regular cranberry sauce. No, no, no. I like to make a guava cranberry sauce. Now, I don't have the guava here because I actually have the guava paste somewhere in my pantry. I always have guava on hand because I love guava. But I do have the recipe for my guava cranberry sauce. It's actually in the same video where I show you guys how I like to make my stuffing. So I'll definitely link that down below. And one of the things that I also like to get that I use in the cranberry sauce is some pomegranate juice. Now, pomegranates are in season, at least I think they are, because they are everywhere during this time of year. My sister goes absolutely crazy, and this plus the guava plus the cranberry, oh my goodness, they just play off of each other so well. And not for nothing, I also just like to drink this, which I may actually pour myself a glass as we continue and go through the rest of these groceries. Okay, so for the next batch of groceries that, not batch, but the next dish that I'm gonna be talking about that I bought groceries for, my mac and cheese. Let me tell you guys something. In my family, I am known, I am famous for my mac and cheese. Okay, my family goes gaga for my mac and cheese. And I have a mac and cheese video here on my channel where I share all of my secrets. I have since, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I have since changed the way that I make my mac and cheese. Comment down below if you want me to make an updated version of how I make my mac and cheese. It's hard to believe, but yes, my mac and cheese got better. It did. I changed my cooking style and it's good. Okay, back to this. So I bought some elbows, and you're probably like, okay, elbows, mac and cheese, cool, I get it. No, 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 no. I make sure to get the elbows with the ridges on them. So you can see here in the photos, these have ridges on them. Now, the reason why you want to get the ones with the ridges on them is because they hold on to that cheese sauce so well. So if it doesn't have ridges, your girl does not want them, okay? Trust me, that is the secret towards making a good mac and cheese. Now, mac and cheese. We need some cheese. And I was a little upset because we're a week out and already the cheese was like sold out. So I like to use at minimum 4 different cheeses when I make my mac and cheese. Yes, that's extra, but listen, it is so worth it. And I always like to use a extra sharp. So extra sharp. And then I always like to use a regular sharp. Now, here's where I got a whole lot of upset. They didn't have my Vermont white, and I always like to make sure to add a Vermont white cheddar cheese. I just think that you need the balance in it. So I don't have it here, so I have to be on the hunt. I also like to add a Munster cheese, and I also like to add a Gouda cheese. I also like to add some mozzarella cheese. I got palio, you know, el queso de pollito, as some of you guys might call it. So the mac and cheese also has some heavy cream, although I no longer put heavy cream in my mac and cheese, and that's one of the changes that I've made to my recipe. I actually use evaporated milk because it has like a subtle sweetness and it is so good. However, I did buy some heavy cream because I do plan on making my own whipped cream. Now, just like with the beef, I like to make sure that I'm using a grass-fed, hormone-free dairy. So anything that derives from a cow, I always like to make sure it's like pasture-raised or grass-fed, and this is no different. And speaking of cow-derived products, we have some butter, and this is Kerrygold. It's a pure Irish butter. I have tried this before on toast. I have no complaints about this. This comes from, again, grass-fed cows, things that I look for. And this, I believe, is a salted butter, which I like to use in the mac and cheese and I like to use on toast. However, when I bake, I actually like to go for unsalted butter. Now, I'm not entirely sure yet if I'm going to be making some buttercream or some cupcakes. If I have extra time, I will. So I went ahead and I bought some unsalted butter. Again, look at that. No added hormones. Things that are really important to me when I go grocery shopping. And last but not least, as far as butter is concerned, I actually bought this from Stop and Shop. As you can see, it's pasture-raised butter. You know, they are grass-fed, and oh my goodness, like, again, so excited. This I bought more so for me. Yes, sea salted. This I bought more so for me to have in the morning with some toast and jam, which is one of my favorite things to eat in the morning. Okay, so a few of the other things that I bought the ingredients to make a pastelito de guayaba con queso. So they are pastelitos. They are these sweet pastries that I like to stuff with some cream cheese and some guava. I use ready-made store-bought puff pastry because, again, I don't have the time to make it myself. That's a little bit arduous. And then I also bought some cream cheese. This is just regular Philly cream cheese that I got at the store. I have, when I go to some farmer's market, get some like grass-fed cream cheese, and it is so decadent and so nice. But listen, I got what I could find, and my mother-in-law loves it when I make those pastelitos. I do too, everyone does actually. And then I also got some ricotta cheese because I haven't decided yet if we're gonna be making baked ziti or if we're gonna be making stuffed shells for Thanksgiving. But again, stepdad is Italian. There must be Italian food. And then I also bought some ready-made jar sauce, store-bought sauce. I love Rayo's. Rayo's marinara sauce, like, honestly does not disappoint. And so I get this just in case I don't make enough on my own, because I do make my own marinara sauce, and I use a combination of tomato puree and some sauce. It's actually really easy to make your own marinara sauce. So let me see. Ooh, okay, so we're like almost done. I'm gonna show you the last batch of the things that I got, and then we'll wrap this all up. Okay, so we have the last batch of groceries that I got. So you guys know I'm making a pernil tomorrow for Friendsgiving, so I need a ton of limes for it, not only to clean the pernil, to season the pernil, but also when you serve it. So I went ahead and got a ton. One of the things that I look out for when I buy limes is that I actually like for it to have a smooth skin, and I make sure to just kind of press it with my thumb to make sure that it has a good amount of juice. Now, because I'm going to be using this literally tonight and tomorrow, I don't bother putting them in the fridge because cold limes actually have a harder time releasing their juices than room temperature ones. So it's a little tip for you guys. I also bought some garlic, tons of garlic, some fresh garlic. Whenever I'm making pernil, I always like to use the freshest garlic as possible. I know that you can buy the ready-made peeled ones, but I don't know. I find those are a little hit and miss. I feel like sometimes they can taste a little off. Now, last but not least, I will be making some flan, good old flan, on Thanksgiving. And so I have here some sweet condensed milk, which is a must, and some flan, which, by the way, I do have a video here on my channel. And then, of course, I also have some evaporated milk. As an ode to my grandmother, because everything I do is in her memory, it makes everyone in my family feel good, and she absolutely loved the holidays. So the holidays, are really hard without her. Even though she hasn't been with us for about 10 years, we still like to keep her memory alive. And so when she made her flan, she will actually decorate it with some pineapple slices. So I went ahead and I bought some pineapple slices, and I bought some maraschino cherries because she used to decorate them with pineapples and cherries to the point where it used to look almost like a pineapple upside down cake. So there you guys have it. Okay, that is my grocery haul for Thanksgiving. As you can see, my Thanksgiving dinner table is a little bit everywhere. We have some American staples, we have some Dominican staples, some Cuban staples, some Italian staples. They are definitely representative of my blended and my mixed family. And these are all dishes that just have to be at the dinner table, either because my family has requested them or because I refuse to go a Thanksgiving without it, AKA some stuffing. Comment down below and let me know, when are you guys going grocery shopping? What are you guys gonna be picking up? Oh, and before I forget, happy Thanksgiving. Comment down below if you really like this video and if you'd like to see more. And like always, until next week, I'm Chef Z y buen provecho.